The banner was Ascension's happening for every person, being, entity, and we are already in the process of that. People say we are moving into fifth density. Some people have already moved into that. But once you leave and you realize who you are already the fifth dimensional being. The access time, thought, all of it. But that banner on the other side, the soul and the physical body will become one. And I'm out of my body and I'm accessing a future time. I see this man, he's walking to the gym. I drew out everything. Right next to the gym, I-beams on the floor, some I-beams up. And I saw a future event where he's walking and then one of the I-beams fall. Now, I shared this with him. I described every detail of who he was, what he looked like, and also the exact scene. And he comes back and says he's taken photos of everything that I drew was exactly where he was and exactly what he looked like. And I said, okay, maybe don't use that gym.
Welcome to the Reality Revolution. My guest today has been leaving his body since he was a child. Before he had words for it, back when he assumed everyone could do it. He's explored and mapped the other side. He's brought back methods for us to experience these out-of-body experiences. And I am just so excited to welcome the one and only Darius J. Wright. Welcome to the Reality Revolution.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brian. I really appreciate this and speaking to your community too. So hope we get a lot out of this.
Yeah, I've been following you for a long time, and there's lots of mystery. There's lots of fascinating information. You have so much that you cover, so much that you do. So there's a few people probably in my group that in particular would like to know a little bit more about you. Maybe what I find fascinating in my recent events, I've been doing this for 8 years. I'm continuously meeting people all over that have never heard of my stuff. So it feels like you've been doing this for how long?
The public side or just the out of body side?
Well, the public side of it first.
Yeah, public side has been what people know me as has been a few years now. So back in 2023, I started to reach out publicly as far as I can. Now, I was public in a way that people didn't know. I used to do pop on radio shows when I was 16 years old, trying to spread stuff like this. But at that time, it was no one was really listening. It wasn't the right place, the right time. We were talking about things back then, or I was talking about things back then, like a lot of the stuff that we see today, which is quite interesting. A lot of the things that people are talking about today, from systems, from what's going on, how the monetary system works, spirituality, truth. And it seems like when the lockdowns happened, that's when everybody was receiving their crown. It was a crowning event. And
I agree with you 100%.
And we had at that moment a very important time where a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are asking questions. Spiritual truth. What is the actual truth? Where do I come from? And that's really stepping in at that time, which helped give clarity for so many people around this. Because you would be surprised. I was surprised of how many people were so open to sleep paralysis, leaving their bodies, as back then they thought it was something bad, or they were being abducted, or something evil was happening to them. And then through my perseverance, through going through all the trials that I went through, I was able to show people that sleep paralysis, leaving your body, is not a scary thing. It is the doorway to access everything that we desire to know. That is the doorway to open, because you'll find it, because you access that which you came from, the place that you came from before you were born.
Right. So I know you've told the story, just like with anything, like you've told the story so many times, but take us back to the beginning when you first had your first out-of-body experience to where you are now and how that's advanced.
I mean, the beginning of it was, it's very interesting. we all want truth, all of us, and we search for it everywhere. We search for it on shows like this. We search through it through looking out in the world, and that was me. I was searching for, what is it? Who am I? Why am I really here? And what is the purpose of actually being here? Because if I don't have that, then to me there is no point in even being. And so I wanted to know this, and through the pursuit of knowing this, I made a command, an ultimatum. Show me all things. I want to know all things by tonight, or I'm going to figure it out anyways in the following morning. And I'll let you fill in the blanks there for your audience. But you know, that was basically saying, I'm gonna take myself out to figure it out. So you show me now, or I figure it out. That night I was shown everything. And I won't go into the details of that, but I was shown everything. Every question that you could possibly desire to know, I was shown. Mm-hmm. You know, I was shown the creation of where we are, how this place was made. I was even shown that even before we came here, things are already pre set up here for us. That the trees were placed here, beings were placed here, that even the stars, we were placed in the stars. Even before the body was manifested. And I was showing all of the vast array of creations, the infinite of all things. And I came back with that, with an absolute knowing, and knowing that there's a time coming within this place where everybody will find this truth. Everybody will wake up to this. And that is the reason why I came back, because I was given a choice to stay there permanently if I wanted to, or come back. And I came back. And through all of that time, through choosing to come back, I was told that I would forget all the details. Mm-hmm. And I did. But I always had the background of this out-of-body state, not really realizing really what it was and the power of what it is. And then through from 16 onward, through trials, getting rid of fear, I developed a method for myself, and I've shared it with many people all across the world now are coming out of their bodies and seeing the same things. You know, 90 testimonies of experiences, and many more that I haven't even shared. Through the controlled states, Brian and everybody listening, you know, I tell you this. I've been able to target. I've been able to go back to. I've been able to meet the people that have shown me all these things. And I have remembered every detail. And through all those details of remembering, I have an absolute knowing of a foundation of truth, of who we are, where we come from, this creation, and the importance of all of us. And this has been so diminished through life. And the moment that you leave your body, you quite literally taste life again. You know, these physical bodies are, we think that this is the fullest expression of life, experiencing 1% of a light spectrum. But when you're in your soul, there is no words other than that your soul is more real than the physical body that you have. And then once you're in it and you're walking in it and you could feel it, and then you could feel other souls, you could feel people that have passed, and you could see those people and you could touch them. The true home and the true life of all things is there. And once you reawaken to that, and once you experience that while you're here within this creation on earth, your whole body and your cells become the very life of the other side.
This is the actual afterlife, right? From what you're saying, we're in the afterlife right now. That's the life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You could actually say that we're actually what people fear of death. "Oh, I'm going to die."
Right.
Well, you're already experiencing death right
Yeah.
here.
This is the death because we're
Yeah.
forgetting who we are, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. And so I'm so excited because much of what I've done for the last 8 years is try to be an astronaut, to explore these realms. Much like you, I feel an affinity and a connection to you. I'm really excited about what you've done. And you pointed out something I've tried to also teach when people come to me so scared that they're in sleep paralysis. This even has happened with my wife. I began to get excited. I felt like, okay, that means that they're starting to get into a point where they're leaving the body, to where there's this temporary period between when you're out of your body and you have some awareness in your body when you are frozen. And it's a great sign. It means that you're starting to stretch out. People don't understand that. And it's very scary in that moment when they wake up in that body and unable to control or move. But if they can breathe into it, it can be a gateway. It's really an amazing thing that you've pointed this out. Thank you for sharing it. Anybody out there, it's a very common experience. People that start to really meditate, at some point in time, they're going to wake up in the night and they're going to be like, I can't move. I can't do anything. I have no control over my body. And they blast out these fear frequencies
Yeah.
immediately, which shifts their consciousness. They're not where they were at. Can you explain a little bit more about your experience with sleep paralysis, uh, in your journeys and adventures?
I want to say this, uh, Brian, is I could actually see I could feel it. I actually feel very strongly your excitement in all of this because you had you had that,
Oh yeah,
you know. So you
yeah,
understand it, which is
I
amazing
understand
because you
100%.
which is I don't want to jump the gun here, but if you haven't went through the full process yet, but
Hmm.
if when you do, like, it's absolutely incredible. It's
Well, that's the
incredible.
thing. Much like you, I've had that experience where I got all the answers.
Mhm.
I, it's been a couple times. One of them has been, it's commonly when I'm around water, swimming or in the shower, and happens
Mhm.
very, very quickly when I'm in this super relaxed mode, but I can never remember it. That's the biggest thing, is that when people have those huge experiences, when you are
Mhm.
literally given the answers to anything you want, uh, it's also very difficult to pull back into this 3D consciousness. I'll write it down, I'll try to put it in my notes, but even that is such a fleeting glimpse. If I could just be there again. Sometimes we chase the dragon a little bit to try to get to back to
Mhm.
that place. I feel like that maybe when you're exploring, you're looking for that again, right? A little bit like what I am. I want to have that again. I want to be right there and continue with that experience, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The I'll answer the question with the sleep paralysis.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all right. So you we we need to understand three things really, um, to really get a good understanding of this. I talk about truth, spiritual truth, foundations that don't change. You can't have unconditional love without a judgment. Or sorry, you can't have unconditional love with a judgment, and you cannot have ultimate expression of freedom with a limitation. Okay, so that's one sound. That's one foundation. That's forever truth. The other one is that we have the physical body, we have the soul, and we have the spirit. So we understand. Okay, that's another layer of a foundation here that we're building for all the other questions to be answered um, correctly. So when we're in the physical body, we we have this majority of people, due to their consciousness, have a disconnection to their soul and their spirit. They're not in unison with it, and so the physical body is only manifested from the soul that's within it. So the soul is who you really are. That is your eternal state, the infinite of the eternal essence of I am. I am all things. I am the divine. I am the light. I am the dark. I am all of it, yet none of it all at the same time, not defined by any of it, but the one that makes all of it, including this body. The spirit is, think of them when you have a thought in your mind and you think of that thought form turns into a spirit within your field. So we could have demonic spirits. We could have the Holy Spirit. We could have a spirit of love. We could have a spirit of hate, all based off how our soul, how we're feeling, what we're projecting in our mind into the field. Spirits are nothing but a thought form that become physically manifest only from the will of the soul. Because how powerful we are, we forget. Because we're only operating within the mind, the body. But the mind is still processing. You're still thinking because it's coming from the soul. So you're making all of these thought forms within your field. So why I say that is because what you speak and how you feel is so important to the things that you also see and get access to. So when you're in the sleep paralysis state, once you're there, you'll have a lot of people that have this negative thought process. And these negative thought processes come from what somebody else said. They haven't necessarily experienced it themselves, but they say, okay, yeah, you have this group collective consciousness all participating in this thought form, creating an egregore. And this thing becomes very real. Becomes a very real thing, very scary thing. And so when people are in sleep paralysis and they're starting to come out within their subconscious, all those fear things, they will see them. And then they'll point and be like, damn, I knew that was true. That thing could stop me. It could harm me. But once you realize one of the most fundamental, truthful statements that I'll make here, that a spirit cannot touch a soul because the spirit is the one that, the soul is the one that made the spirit. The creator has control over its creation, not the creation having control over the infinite I am of all things, which is you. And so once you come out, you're going to see things that you can't see physically. You're going to see all those things that you thought of, that you thought were private, will be in your space, tapping into the multidimensionality of 99% more of that light spectrum. And you're going to be able to see those things. And a lot of people's greatest mistake is to buy into the fear component. Because once you do that, you end up going to hell within yourself due to the spirit that you are giving energy to. You know, it becomes a hellish state because it's a fear state. And that hellish state is because fear is the opposite of love. It's the opposite of all that I am, or all that is in terms of the unconditional love state. So if you could get into a state where you just listen to what I'm saying and really believe it, and then turn that belief into absolute knowing that nothing could touch your soul, nothing could control you or entrap you. You, all of us, every single person is of the most highest purity, divinity, fashion, and purity, and nothing could touch you. And so once you start shutting down the body and you get into that sleep paralysis state and you understand that, then all fear diminishes. And then all of a sudden you start to come out and then you start to access all of the things that you ever wanted to know. But once you're in fear, it makes this border around you. And this border cuts you off from all things. And people will say, well, what is I've never seen it. And then it comes down to the concept. Well, you cannot, how do you tell a blind person what the color blue looks like? I know you can't see it yet, but I'm telling you, once you pass fear and you listen to what I'm saying, you will finally see what blue looks like. And it is a beautiful blue. You know, and you'll never return back to fear again.
I love that.
That whole process is a scary process coming out of your body. That's sleep paralysis, because you're tipping on the edge of quite literally death. Well, once you do it 100%, you're tipping on the edge of death. And I say this, the reason why I say that is because when you die, what happens? The heart rate lowers, the electromagnetic field lowers, and the soul leaves. And then you stand up and then you see your dead body. When you come out of body, you're doing the same process, but without dying, but you are lowering the heart rate. You do, when you step out, the electromagnetic field does even lower within the body. The only thing keeping the body in is the heart rate is very high and the electromagnetic field is so high, it glues you in. When you go to sleep and you do a conscious sleep process and you go deeper, you do shut down the body and you leave it. And you could see the person that has died. So someone died at the same time frame of you leaving your body, what you would see. A physical person actually dies. To the point of no return, the body is dead. Soul comes out. You'll be out of body. Your soul will come out. And you'll be able to see the dead person. Dead person will be able to see you. And this is where the contact with relatives that have passed, you could see. Because it's in the same, you're doing the same exact process. You know.
So you shared the concept about the egregores. I'd love to expand on that, because it really feels like we're living in a world of these egregores that are created when groups think the same thoughts along the same vibrations, beyond just where you're at. So I feel like we're swimming in a battle of egregores, sometimes not a battle, but an interaction of egregores. So when you see into this world, do you notice that as well?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. This is why you ever hear well, everybody heard this, spiritual warfare.
Of course.
Yeah. So all of these things are spiritual warfare. Like if we look at it that way. So let's just go into an egregore of Christianity. That's one massive field.
Massive.
And it's based off, you could say truth. Yes, it is. But also fear and worship. And so that field is very strong. And it also has the ability, that energetic field also has the ability to influence your field, even when you're out. Then you have, let's go into satanic worshiping people. That's another massive one. Polar opposite. It's another massive one. And you could see those things. And that also has an energetic influence on people that are not aware. This is where you get possession. People could be possessed by certain fields or certain thoughts.
The egregores are conscious, right? And,
yep. Yeah.
And they receive energy even if we fight against them. So the people fighting against Christianity are also contributing energy to the egregore. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. You're always feeding it. You're always feeding that energy field. Now, a lot of people, when I say possession too, it's not in the way that you think. So let's just say if you have a trauma in your life, you hate something about yourself. You think about it every single day. You can't get rid of it, and you constantly hate it. Well, you're possessed. Right now, you're possessed. You're possessed by the thought form that's constantly weakening you instead of loving it. So the only thing that you could really do inside of these states where everybody has these fields, collective fields, is understand one thing. What is that energetic field? Is it a soul? Or is the energetic field a spirit? Is that whole bubble a spirit or a soul? And this is why I said, when we understand those foundations, those pillars that I've already set, you'll begin to realize that yes, the soul is projecting its energy through its thought and its belief into that field. But again, that field is not more powerful than the soul itself. And so your best thing to always do inside of all of these containers of fields is to send unconditional love to it, because then it ripples back into that field, penetrates that field, and ripples it back to every single soul that has ever participated and thought that into existence.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So in your journeys, you have discovered 12 realms. So I'd love to explore this a little bit. Can you tell me about what you've discovered? What are these realms?
Yeah. So you know what's quite interesting is that
Mhm.
when I talk about the 12 realms or even 12 heavens, you all through history, people have said this. They've documented other people saying these things. Now, at the time, I had no concept of this. I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah. So you had it in Hindu mythology, people within
Mhm.
that environment documenting these things. You had some form within the Book of Enoch describing the certain levels. You have it in certain spiritual communities now that document this. The biblical Bible has documented 3. They just call it 3 heavens. So from a person of no prior study on this to then seeing it and then to go in to look at it,
Mhm.
it's a great confirmation. I'll tell you this: the reality of where we have been told we live is not true. It's
Mhm.
not true. We within this particular creation, we have 12 creations.
Mhm.
Now, you could even say when you're on the other side, you have another creation that's slightly different. But this one that we're in has 12, total of 12 realms. And I figured out too, by looking at this, is that each creation has 13 different kingdoms. And so let's just say we go into the heaven 2, realm 2, has 13 kingdoms. And then the third heaven, the golden heaven, 13 kingdoms within there. The fourth heaven, 13 kingdoms within there. And you can view the kingdoms as certain countries. So here, we're in the earth creation. And let's just say every single country is a different kingdom with different groups of people, with different races, with different, Caucasians, Black, Asians, different ways of thinking, but still within humanity. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And all these heavens are literally sections within the stars. When we look at the zodiac as a concept, an anchor point, you could say each zodiac sign is a particular heaven, and each one of those stars some of those stars give you access to the particular countries, those kingdoms. And the rest of the stars are the soul imprints. So this is going to sound like a lot, but I'll put it all together. When we walk in here, we walk in through water. So we come into this place through water, and then we're born through the womb of the waters of the mother. And in this water, when you actually look with your eyes and you take a camera that could zoom into the sky. So from the other side, we open this door and we see this water and we step into it, and then we're born. Take a camera and you zoom up to certain stars. They look like lights twinkling through water.
Mhm.
And this is where the whole making of this place is so calculated, is so perfectly designed that even what I see out of my body, you can actually see with your eyes. Some of the aspects you could see with your eyes. And you could say the first creation is you could say that the center of this creation is Earth, where we are. And we have been told that we're not the center of the creation of this creation through other means of science or what have you. They want to make us believe that we're not the center of what was made here. We are, and that is the truth. The other is the lie of it. It's the reason why our bodies were so perfectly made that even within our DNA, we have 12 strands of DNA. 12-dimensional structure within our brain, too. So our bodies are perfectly made for this place. And in the past, you'll find all through ancient civilizations that they had contact and connections with all of these places. And that sometimes they were able to come from what they say the stars or the higher heavens to Earth, and then Earth to there through technology of the organic technology of the creation of this whole place. And so when we look at Earth, we are the center of, for another anchor point, you could say God's template, God's design, which is God is all of us. Now, when we move into the second heaven, that is where you'll find the celestial heaven. And then the third is the golden heaven. Now, once you look at the third heaven, you'll find it connects perfectly into the pyramids, golden age. You know, you go back into that time when the pyramids are here and all the structures are here, which, by the way, they're all over this place. They're hidden, buried, mountain formations that we think are mountains that are actually pyramids. And this has been documented and shown as well. All those pyramids and everything that was made back in that time, they used a lot of gold. They used a lot of silver. They used a lot of mercury too, sometimes mercury, to tap into free energy. We have a field above our head, the atmosphere, just the atmosphere itself. Some people call it the ether. Is an infinite supply of energy. Nikola Tesla was tapping into that. You also have people that just do this publicly on YouTube. They take a balloon, they shoot it up with a copper wire up into the atmosphere. They put a grounding rod into the earth, and they're able to pull electricity from the very sky itself and generate electricity. And so a lot of these structures, not a lot of them, but these structures were built to harvest energy that's all around us. This is why, too, I'm still referring to the golden heaven, but also here on earth, what was made. I targeted the pyramids, and also I was also taken there. So I was taken there and then also targeted it again. And when I was taken there, I was showing all these three. I saw 3 tunnels, massive tunnels that go deep within the ground, beneath the pyramids, and that you would access them by the Sphinx or that one statue or whatever, and it opens up, and you go walk down into these tunnels. And when you reach the bottom of these, you get the ancient scrolls, you get the original seeds for the giant trees that were once here. There's crystals down there that read your soul. There's interdimensional Stargate passageways that they use to traverse this entire creation. There's the whole map of creation inside that middle tunnel. What people theorize as the halls of Amete is literally down there. And then you have the study that comes out of a group of individuals that use this sonar technology that they map for the ocean to penetrate down beneath the pyramids, and they saw those tunnels. They saw those massive pillars going down, which then I've stated even before they brought that up. Now, you could say those massive anchor points, what are they? They're the grounding rods, but also places that you could go into. And then the top of it was accessing the atmospheric energy too, to make electricity as we know it. And also to travel to sections within the stars, kingdoms within the stars, heavens within the stars, to go to their places and come here and freely travel. You know, we're in the dark ages of traveling. We think getting on a plane to travel 8 hours to get somewhere, 1 hour, 2 hours. But travel was instant because the structures that were made, who we were in that time, was so advanced that travel was just an instant. You walk through a passageway and you're there. You know, you even go into the fourth creation of this, which is Eden, tree of life. Now, I've heard of this before, but I've never really went into much research of it at all until I was shown that the heaven of Eden is the fourth creation within this place. And then you have the fifth, which is, think about it as cathedrals, or think about it like, you know, you go to the Vatican, or you see ancient churches where you get these massive domes and they're all white. You know, that is what the fifth creation is. I just thought the first time that I was there, I was like, this is what heaven is. That is heaven, you know?
Right.
What
the
they
classic
biblically
illustration.
Yeah,
right.
The classic illustration in the clouds, everything. That's what I saw. I was like, okay, this is it, you know? And I realized, okay, well, no, that's just the fifth out of the other, you know, creations that are here. And, you know, even going back into that time, by the way, too, with the structures, even the beings from the fifth creation here on Earth, because they were once here. This is documented too, of people coming down. They look more luminous, but they understood craftsmanship, materials better than what we know now. You see, we build structures based off concrete, and we build structures based off plasterboards and this and that, all decaying, constantly decaying. But they built structures that were self-healing. You see, this information is known, but people are unaware of it. Concrete could be self-healing. They used lime, and certain other things, mix it together. So anytime water gets inside those structures, it heals itself. And this is why structures are still standing, but no steel in them. They're breathable, able to breathe, able to hold and maintain their mass. And because we run off, currently society runs off such a false perception that we are limited and that everything's scarce. There's a limited supply of things. Things will die. There's limited food. And because our consciousness is there, all we build things based off limitations and destruction. But the time, they knew that everything was infinite, even when they were here on Earth. They knew that everything was infinite. Nothing died. A rock has consciousness. Minerals within the rock, you could say, has consciousness. Now, people could understand, okay, well, rock will never die. And then I ask you this question. Well, is a rock any more valuable than the very physical body that you have that holds the entire map of creation and this creation within your body? If a rock could live forever, why would you think that the will of your soul and how you were made in purity, fashioned in purity, can't? Or we can't start doing things that are perceived as impossible. Their consciousness was in such a heightened state of awareness of all things that even the places and things that they made still live forever, you know, because of that. And that is of the fifth creation, the fifth heaven. 13
Mm-hmm.
kingdoms there, you know. You go into the sixth, it's the in-between space. So we start to look at let's just use the chakra system. So as you count from the base, you go up, you know, and you go up to the crown. There's a point where you have this in-between space within your body, a place where those two meet, or it can meet, and then it makes it this toroidal field. Just so happens to be that this creation is made off a toroidal field too. So that toroidal field goes up, comes down, and it meets somewhere in the middle, that in-between spaces of the sixth creation. And this is where I would always have experiences where the sun would never set. It was always dusk. And it was this strange place that I thought it seemed like hell in a sense, but not with like fire and all those things. It just didn't seem, it seemed weird. Like things were always in this reversal stage or polarity stage. Like it's almost like there's a movie, I forget the movie, where he's reaching up to the sky and he's touching this woman's hand, and the city is basically, he's in a city below and the city's above. It's just flipped, mirrored.
Right.
Do you know which one I'm talking about?
I know the title's not coming to me, but I can see the scene. Yeah.
It's almost like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the bridge between the higher creations, that
Mm-hmm.
in between space. And so then as you move up into the seventh, you move up into the angelic heavens. So what we perceive as angels, what's written about with angel wings, and
Mm-hmm.
these beings are of the seventh creation here. And again, you get this through history too. Not necessarily them saying the seventh creation is where the angels reside, but they talk about all angels all throughout history. People have experiences with them all the time. And some of them are actually here, present, physically here, within physical bodies, present. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there's something I want to go back to, the sixth creation. You go back
Mm-hmm.
into the book of Enoch, or some things that he shares within the book of Enoch. He says something similar, which he's not necessarily saying it's the sixth, but he says something like where it's like hell or something like that. And I would actually
Mm-hmm.
match that to what I seen within the sixth, but it's not hell. As you move up into the eighth, you get another form of the angelic heaven. You could say this is the first time I've ever heard the word seraphim. Never heard that word in my life until I was there. And then I'm there and I'm looking and I'm seeing, okay, this is another form of the angelic heaven. The ninth, you get this, what people would perceive as gods. And I'll just leave it at that. It's not necessarily gods. Like I said, we are all gods. Every single one of us are God itself. The soul it's an infinite soul. But when we just talk about this particular creation that we're in, they hold a presence of godlike states, a godlike state. You get the 10th,
Mm-hmm.
which is just another higher plane of creation. And the 11th is actually quite interesting. The 11th isn't a place where you have a lot of souls there. So the 11th creation here, there's not a lot of souls there. It's the best way that I'm going to say this as an anchor point for people is think about the zodiacs. So if you could picture the zodiac, all the things that we have. Now imagine there is a being there that represents all of the zodiacs.
Mm-hmm.
Entrance points within the stars into every heaven from the 10th down to the first one that we're in now. And then you have this 12th creation, which again is not necessarily where a lot of souls are, but you could say, as an anchor point for people to understand this, let's just say that they are the council. Okay. Purely as an anchor. All right. They're like a council or the ancients. And then you have this containing force that is this 13th layer that contains everything. And now, once you step out of this place entirely, you will view this place as just one out of many. Now, all of those things that I said, we are not defined by any of those characters, or nor any of those characters are higher than us. Because even when we step out of this place, who are we? Each individual soul, from an angel to a person to the fifth heaven, when they step out, what are they? They're souls. All equal, all at the same potential, ultimate expression of freedom with no limitation, unconditional love without a judgment. And then we all as souls on the other side, outside of this place entirely, we can make and manifest any creation that we possibly want based off our soul's desire to constantly pursue joy and fulfillment. And no matter what it is that you think of, you could experience outside of this place. Ironically, too, when you look at this, you would agree that we're inside of this polarity, yin and yang experience here, where you have a duality. Now, if we have 12 creations here, that also means that we have 12 creators that made it, almost as acting as a pairing. Souls that thought it into existence, like the templates of this creation. So the best way to explain this is, let's just say, again, this is purely as an anchor for understanding. Right now, if we were to have a one world government, and let's just say America was a place that ruled that one world government. Right now, you could say the ruler and creator of the whole template of that currently right now would be Trump and Melania Trump. So Trump, Melania Trump. And then let's just say the second creation, if it was a one world government system up there, you'll have, I'm going to pick a name. Let's just say, who's a good name? Let's just use Buddha. Okay. And if Buddha had a counterpart, bam, then they set the template there, and so forth and so forth and so forth. Yeah.
So we're living within templates set by other creators, essentially, what you're implying, right?
Yes.
So,
yeah. So
some creators, for instance, in the God world you're talking about, some creators move or advance to a level where they're expressing godlike power in the way that we can imagine it, and in some cases they create their own realms, right?
I mean, they have more capability up in these planes because they understand more. But it's more like this. Let me give you this example. I think this will be a great way for many people to understand it. Did you ever play the game Minecraft?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Many people, it's a universal game, Minecraft. You know, every child plays it. You know? All right. So the child that's playing Minecraft never thought of the game Minecraft before. The child never made Minecraft. Who made Minecraft? Who were the developers and the minds behind Minecraft? Of making that game? Or you could even say, who was the developers and minds to make the Xbox or the PlayStation, the console? Let's just say the PlayStation is the construct, this creation that we're in. And
Right.
Minecraft is only of a creation, only of a heaven, one heaven template. So who were the minds that thought to make the console of the PlayStation? Not the kids that are playing it, but a few people. And let's just say those people, as people, physical people, are on the other side of creation itself with certain experiences through life experiences that they've had all throughout eternity. And then they branch out to, hey, Mike, you have this experience with programming. Can you come here? Hey, David, you have this experience with certain artificial intelligence. Can you come here? Hey, Brian, you have a great mind of creativity. Come here. And then by the end of it, let's just say we have 12 souls. Now, this PlayStation was never made yet, but we had an idea of making something amazing. And then we all, 12 of us, start to collaborate on ideas, all from our experiences in life, to make something that was never made before. And then the first creation of it, something that has never been experienced before, we make a PlayStation. And in that PlayStation, now it's blank. Well, what are we going to put in it? Brian, what is your aspect of heaven? Because now you are part of the 12 that made the very PlayStation that has never been made. Mm-hmm. Your first thought would probably be a paradise. Right. And probably be a paradise on earth. And let's just say, what is that paradise on earth? What people symbolize as heaven itself. And then you would make a CD called The Fifth Heaven. And inside that fifth heaven, you would make a creation within this creation, a template, a heaven, that then you, Brian, step into and you enjoy what you made. And then eventually you have 12 different games, 12 different templates, from Minecraft to heaven to whatever, roadblocks. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So the PlayStation is the construct. Is that the way you explain constructs?
Hold on. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And then all of a sudden, when in the making of all of this, you go, wow, this is great. You see, and even in the making of it, of those CDs, those games, what is already placed within it? The trees are already there. You made everything already. Mm-hmm. From the beginning to the end of the storyline, already preset. And one day you'll be like, wow, this PlayStation that we made, this construct, this creation, and all of the games that we just made that people could play, I'm having so much fun. Let's open this to all of every person on earth. Mm. And then everybody gets their Xbox and they can play this. And they step in and they grab their controller, they grab their TV and they play it from the other side. But then they're inside. And now take that same concept with this creation, this construct is of the PlayStation, and the heavens are of the games. And there were 12 souls that thought that into existence, not because they're greater or grander than anybody, but just they had certain experiential experiences to make something that was never made before. And then all of us at some point step into this game as kids or adults or older people playing the video game, saying, wow, I want to play that heaven. I want to play that being. I want to pop into this experience at this time. Because sometimes in video games, you have certain series, you have certain seasons, special events. There's a special event happening now, you know, within the Minecraft series. It's called this new thing that everybody's invited to. Everybody gets excited and they're like, wow, let me jump in and play that. So then we jump in because we already heard the call from the other side. We already knew what was going to happen. We already knew the advertisement of what was going to take place. And this is where you get this massive amount of souls jumping in. Because guess what, Brian? There was a banner made on the other side saying, the fulfillment and conclusion of all things within this creation is going to be done. Volunteers, anybody want to come in and play? We all go,
why not?
Wow,
yeah.
This is the finale of all things. This has never happened within this creation before. It's never happened within all the series of all the heavens reuniting again, but completely and finally. And then all those games that are being played are united completely and finally, where even you yourself could access every single game within this creation instantly.
So are there infinite constructs?
Yeah. Yep.
So there's multiple constructs. We're just in one.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So the best way that I like to explain this, let's just say the PlayStation, where we are currently now, the PlayStation is where we are currently now. And this is the most, in the best way, it's the most rewarding game. And you can say this is what I was shown from 16 as well. It's the most rewarding game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the unexperienced. And once a soul goes through the unexperienced, they gain a certain perceptual wisdom that would have never been birthed unless it was experienced. And this is the PlayStation. Now, when you're outside of the PlayStation, as the body, you just shut it off. And all of a sudden, when you shut it off, the character playing in that game, the character may say, oh, I've died. But then you're back into your true form, which is much bigger, much larger.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're inside your house. And inside your house, which is ironic, because inside your house, what do they say? There are many different heavens and mansions. There's many different mansions within heaven. So when you shut off that PlayStation, guess what? You're in your mansion within heaven, the great infinite beyond on the other side. Now inside your house, you could do and make anything that you want. One day you may want to wake up and open up your door and make a deck, or make another game based off just what you think, what your mind could imagine, your imagination, to make it with your hands. And when you're on the other side, just like when you walk out your house, your mansion, you could see another soul's mansion and another soul's house, and you can knock on their door. What have you made today? And you could go into their place and see how their house is made, in their creations, what they've made, their creations within their space, on their land. Wow, I will get an idea from that. That's amazing. You set up this, you made a deck with a platform with another house, you made a mud brick dome home, or what have you. And so on the other side, we can make, as a soul, we can make whatever it is that we desire. And it's not limited by the physical hands. It's limited by the thought in your imagination. If you can't imagine it, therefore, it won't manifest itself. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. No, it's fascinating. Somebody in the group is asking, are we coming to the end point in our human experiment?
Again, it was like a banner on the other side.
Right.
That humanity, in other words, for people in your audience to understand this very, very clearly, the banner was ascensions happening for every person, being, entity within that PlayStation. Ascension's going to happen. And we are already in the process of that. Think about it, Brian, and the person that asked that question. The very fact people say we are moving into fifth density. Some people have already moved into that. How could I and many people leave their body and see time, see the future, see predictions? Now, some of these predictions and seeing future events, back in the past, they would have called them prophets. In the present time, they call them psychics. But once you leave and you realize who you are already the fifth dimensional being. To access time, to access thoughts, to access all of it. But that banner on the other side was that the soul and the physical body would become one. And that the body that we inhabit will be able to do that which a soul could do.
Oh, awesome. So something we've experimented with in my meditations with my group is actually connecting to our future self and forming a sort of entanglement that feels very real. It feels to me like, when done properly, an out-of-body experience. So you have also experienced moving into, because all of time is in one place when you enter into this realm, right? So talk about your experiences in accessing the future.
Well, I've accessed future events many times, like so many times, so accurate too on them. And I will say this, as I always say it, the deck of cards analogy that I was showing with time perfectly aligns with what you just said. So right now, you take a deck of cards, you put them all together, and you look down. All time happens, all time is happening all at once. Now, to understand that for people, if this is your first time hearing this, think about each card as separate events, separate time events. And so we experience it as this. We jump to this card as an event. That's in the future. And we jump to that card, and that's how we experience it. But once you're out of your body, and not even necessarily out of your body, once you access to who you are, the other side, your home, it's like putting all of those cards together. You could look down and you could see all potential, everything happening all at once. And you could begin to target certain future things and see them be fulfilled. 16 years old. How could I, at 16 years old, from Celeste showing me all things, also show me this very house that I'm living in right now? The very land that I have, the people that are around me, from 16 to now. I was shown the future because it was written in stone for me. And now I'm presently here. Even look the exact same of what she showed me back from 16. I thought it was somebody else. I was looking up to that person. I'm like, wow, who is that? Not realizing that it was me. I've stopped people's death from accessing future events. A few times I've done this. I've done this with people close to me. I've recently done it just in a this was public too. I actually did a video with him. Maybe I'll possibly share it later on, like in the future, maybe next 3 weeks or so. But all of a sudden I'm out of my body and I'm accessing a future time. And I see this man, and he's walking to the gym, and I drew out everything. So there's a gym pretty much here. There was a sidewalk pretty much in the front door of it. And then I saw this construction site happening right next to the gym, I-beams on the floor, some I-beams up. And I saw him, a future event where he's walking, and then one of the I-beams fall. Now, I shared this with him, and I even basically, in viewing it, I said he's white, he has long hair. I described every detail of who he was, what he looked like. And also the scene, the exact scene. And I shared it publicly in my group. And he comes back and says he's taking photos of everything that what I drew was exactly where he was and exactly what he looked like with the I beams. And I said, okay, maybe don't use that gym. Go to another one, because that's a high potentiality of something harmful happening to you. So I've been able to do that. I've been able to see time in certain revealing of truth for people. For instance, I will PG this, but the files that have been released, I said that a year ago before their release. I said every sealed classified document of deception that they've done in deception behind the scenes will be revealed to people. Bam, a year later, because I saw that in the future for that to be fulfilled and shown. And so
what do you see happening in the near future in the next couple of years?
Nothing but some people will experience it as depending on where they are in consciousness, as a near-death experience, because a lot of the things that they base their life off of, a lot of like people that are just consciously, this is all that there is, this material world and money and whatever. A lot of these things are going to be a no more. We are 100%, and I know this without question. Money will be no more. Humanity will not be living in a time where money exists, where there's going to be abundance for everybody. And I've said this a while ago, years ago. I've said this, or a year ago. Humanity's moving into the future of a paradise, of heaven returning back to earth, or what people classify as heaven returning back to earth, or what spiritual communities would classify as a golden age. Christianity would refer to the return of Christ. In Hindu mythology, they would refer to it as the return of their whatever. That's the time that we're moving into. All of humanity is. Because it's like that banner on the other side. Ascension's happening. Do you want to participate? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that 100%, and it's very exciting. It does feel like we're going to go through what feels like a death, what feels like a complete and total transformation in who and what we are, and it will be very fun to watch and to experience it. I've been waiting for it for a long time, and it is what it is.
Well,
so
it's a lot of us, Brian. I actually, I want to level with you here because I thought this was going to happen back in 2013.
Right.
With certain things, it should have happened back then. There are so many things going on back in that time that we're all seeing now that are public. That I was with people, a group of people, many people, all revealing certain truths to humanity that we're not ready for yet. For instance, the deep state has only become a public thing because of Trump has come on the scene. In 2013, we were talking about all these things, and it's like it's weird how the time happens. Like the certain consciousness of where it's at. But when you look at life, when people look at life and they're struggling through this life, right, there is a point in time where those same people that are now struggling were not struggling at all. Let's just say they were the middle class. And the middle class saw nothing wrong with the world. They were comfortable. They're comfortable, willfully ignorant, in bliss. There's a Matrix scene where he's eating the steak. Bliss, I would rather be in this bliss state instead of in the real world. You had a lot of middle-class people in that particular mindset. They saw all the catastrophes on earth, all of the people that had nothing suffering, but because it didn't affect them, sat back and done nothing. I'll eat my steak for dinner tonight. It's okay. You know,
Right.
but now what has affected the poor is affecting the middle and is also affecting the higher class of society. And we're reaching a point where now everybody feels the pain from the lowest common denominator of civilization, that person. And now that people are feeling that pain, guess what's going to happen? It's like a birthing pain. It's a rebirth of something new. Because people need to step into responsibility for their actions. And most importantly, for the things that they choose not to do when they know they should do it. And they choose not to do it because they are cowards in fear of losing their material things as other people suffer below them. And we're getting this great shift where all that suffering and pain is pushing up. And it's pushing up because as this place is already pre-written for everybody to wake up. It's already pre-written in stone. And the closer you get to the source of light, if you turn on a light, let's just say big light, big stadium or studio light, spotlight. Let's just say it's right in front of you. Okay. Well, when you are so far away from truth of all things, and you're in the audience, sitting in the farthest seat back where the light source is, when you look behind you, you're going to see a tiny shadow, a tiny bit of darkness. But the closer you move towards the center of the stage, and you could say the center of the stage is your divinity, your truth, the very light that's shining, you think it's something, you could perceive that as something so godlike and so, I'm never going to reach that state, but you're looking at yourself. You are the source of light. And the closer you walk towards that source of light, when you look back, the bigger the shadow is going to be. Because you're going to see everything that is not of the truth. All of the deceptions, all the lies. And that's where humanity is right now. They're walking towards the light and they're still afraid of the shadow, but they're being shown everything that love is not. And in so that true. Is the great reveal of things where people do have a near-death experience. They will have that where they go, wow, I've done all these things consciously. They get their life review physically, where everything flashes before their eyes, where they get to see everything. And they become the judge of themselves. Even though everything's forgiven there, that's what's happening. Because that's needed for what's coming next, Brian. And it is coming, you know. Things are so written in stone. Like people say you can't change, or the future is forever changing. And I'm going to tell you that the future is not forever changing. There are aspects that are forever changing, but there are some things that are written in stone that does not change. I had an experience recently. This is 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago from this interview. I come out of my body and I look at my arm. And I could see for the first time I've experienced this, that even the body has dates written in stones on it of certain things to happen within your body. Like dates and times, like the cell's already pre-programmed to activate or do certain things at a particular time frame, you know. And even another one, that final event marker, let's just say for your audience to understand this. People will say, no, nothing is written in stone. It is forever changing. Now I'm going to ask you this. Well, is death written in stone? Aren't you going to cross over to the other side and access all things? Okay, well, that's written in stone. That's written in stone that you, the soul, will access all things again through death or here. Regardless, it's going to happen. And I go back to the Minecraft game. Was the end, you have the beginning of the story and the end of the story. Was the end of the story not already pre-written before you even turned the console on and started playing the video game in the start? The end of the story was already written as you're playing it, as you're playing in the beginning. So the future, there are future things, but some of these things that are pre-written, it's almost like we're moving through the past to get to that which has already happened, has already been fulfilled.
Mm-hmm. Now you describe a war in heaven that actually, so these realms, there were wars between them or amongst them.
This is where you get the great fall of all things. So
Mm-hmm.
let's use Atlantis as one of them, and Egypt as another one, the pyramids. What
Mm-hmm.
happened to all these beings? Automatically, bam, they're gone. We can't figure out where they went. Where do they go? Well, how about all of these mesas? Some of these mesas are, when you look at the formation of them, petrified to stone, and you look at a tree chopped down. Look at how they are perfectly look identical. And so we were in a time where everything was open, where all
Mm-hmm.
things, travel was done. Everything was done. You had the angels here. You had mystical beings that were here. You had dragons that were here that have been written about in Chinese mythology. You have it all through mythology or fantasy texts, and some of them are actually with inside actual history, where they say, they medieval castles, we definitely saw one, but they're inside of all these different places within on Earth, from China to America, from what have you, and just like everything else, we're living in a space where it's all potentiality in terms of that way, where we're experiencing that which we're not. And I don't know the catalyst that started that, but yeah, it was the Great War within all the heavens, really, which then cut everything off, or close certain doors. Yeah.
So we had giants and advanced civilizations sharing the realm
Absolutely.
that we were in before. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Look at some of these, like I said, when you look into old structures, when we begin to look at these old structures, like there is a thing people call Tartaria, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, Tartaria. Now, once you look at some of these old structures that are still standing, you'll see that from the pyramids, from Tartaria, from some of the Vatican or old style churches that are just beautiful, not the in terms of the craftsmanship of how they were built,
Mm-hmm.
all of that is actually scattered. Even the pyramids are scattered all throughout this place, because that one event, what they call the Galactic Wars, what they call the Atlantis fall, or the disappearing of the Mayan civilization, from giants to angels, from godlike beings, from all the mystical beings, were here and present all at one time. All at one time. And they all fell at the same time. And some of these beings are still presently here. We could get certain people, not these fake videos where you see a fake video of like something or an alien. You clearly know it's fake. But there are some documented people that have seen certain things, and they share these certain things. You now have whistleblowers that are coming out of non-disclosure agreements because that contract has been fulfilled. I've actually spoken to one of these people too. He could not speak about certain things because he was underneath a certain, an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, for a particular time frame. And guess what? Those contracts are now expiring.
Mm-hmm.
Why now are they expiring? Why at this time?
Right.
You
The
see?
other thing I was going to ask about is your view of the ego. A lot of people teach dissolving the ego is
Hmm.
what we need to do, but you're saying that that's a mistake, that the ego is an important part of our soul structure. Can you explain that?
Yeah. So the best way that I explain this is this way. All right. We everything throughout. Actually, I'll go this way. Well, when you're born, when you were born,
Hmm.
you yourself, would you say that you were born um, with no, your soul had no experience of everything that it has ever experienced before, and the person within this body did not have all that in terms of it was part of your personality? Or would you say that when you were born, that personality of who you were is the combination of every experience that you ever had all throughout creation, then born into the body?
The second one feels right for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we all right. So through our life, we gain experience, and this experience, then you could say it's like a frying pan. It seasons a certain personality through just experience. Now, all through our life, and I'm talking about the soul's life, if every single experience that it all had, from the good to the bad, becomes present in its personality. And if you were to destroy the ego, and how I hear people describe what the ego is, what essentially you would be saying is erase all of your soul memory that even birthed that personality into existence. And so what you're really saying, get rid of your ego, get rid of that life experience, get rid of that life experience and all of them, because I'm uncomfortable with the personality that was made from that accumulated experiential wisdom and then expressed here, you know? So that's why I say that when people say in the current format of how they're saying it, get rid of your ego, that is actually a attack on your soul experiences,
Makes
you
sense.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's how I formulate that. Yeah.
so people can actually access, you give a specific method, it's the ADA method. You teach it in your online academy, which is at dariusjwright.com. People can access, right?
Um, yeah, but I don't like to promote that. Just
Okay.
yeah. Pe- if people want to learn what I do teach people. But if you want to learn what I do, the most important thing is to go to the site and read my mission statement.
Your mission statement. Okay.
Yeah, just do that, because without understanding the mission behind what I'm doing, which has been told to me in a life review, even from Uncle Bob, which is the great work to wake people up to the other side. Without understanding that, and then you just want to learn an OBE, you will miss the foundation of why you're doing it to begin with. You know, the real purpose of it. And when you read that, it allows you to become part of a community, part of a movement, to purely do one thing: wake people up to the other side. And that's part of the great work. It's part of the mission. Wake people up to the other side.
I love it.
And yeah,
Um, it's been a real honor to get a chance to talk with you um, and to speak with you and to hear your story. And I sure hope you could feel free to come back again and join us here. There's so many more questions that I had written down that I could ask, and I don't want to take too much of your time. I know that it's still super early there, right? You're in New Zealand, right?
oh no,
Yeah.
Australia, 8:30.
Australia. Okay. 8:30.
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah,
I really
yeah,
appreciate you taking the time and joining us. It's been a real honor. And all the links for Darius will be in the description, including the link to the mission statement. And welcome to the Reality Revolution, Darius.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
Hey, welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm Brian Scott. Over the last year, I have had the honor of hosting some amazing live in-person events, something I never thought that I would do. And I have grown and changed so much in these experiences. The opportunity to meet so many of you, to shake your hand, to hug you, to hear your stories, to watch the way that you grow, to see your changes, to get to know you. So many of you have followed my channel. It's been such an exciting experience. So when we were thinking about our next event, we decided we wanted to do something a little different. So many of you have found me through my teachings on money, on large sums of money, on the affirmations that I use. And so we brainstormed and came together with an amazing event. Over 3 days, we've planned out some of the most incredible meditative techniques, exercises, and teachings that I have ever done. 9 immersive meditations, all designed to shift you into the reality where large sums of money come to you easily and quickly. There is nothing I want more than for you to experience absolute prosperity. I want you to live a life where you are free to do what you want when you want. I want you to be able to choose when you wake up, when you go to sleep. I want you to lead a business that empowers you, that fulfills you. I want you to live a life where you choose where you live. You live in your dream home. You travel the world. I want all of this for you, and it's available to you. I believe when we come together at these events, magic happens. And so I want to have the opportunity to become a catalyst for you, to join me for 3 days so that we can manifest the most incredible life for you, one that makes you incredibly prosperous, where you tune into infinite streams of money. You walk through storms of money all around you. You experience it in every way, shape, and form. Large sums of money are coming to you. Join me in Austin on September 18th through the 20th at the Hyatt Regency. You can find the link in the description at www.brianscottlive.com/Austin-2026.